All right, and everybody, welcome to the weekly live stream. You are invited to join in, leave us a comment, etc. Give me a moment to get the apparatus going. In the meantime, check out this musical ditty, Honey, I Shrunk Your Soul. All right, everybody. So this is our every week Wednesday 2 p.m. stream. So this is a new format here, doing every Wednesday afternoon from 2 until 3 or so. And we'll talk about whatever news stories you like. I've seen some interesting ones. And our patrons, and thanks to our patrons, by the way, our patrons would be well aware of a very interesting story about accountability in the year 2021. How many of you viewers have noticed that the year 2020 was indeed a year of clarity? Did it become evident all sorts of things that maybe weren't clear before that? Did you notice anything like that going on there? Was 2020 a year where everybody just sort of came out of the woodwork and jumped up and down and said, hey, look at me, I'm the problem. I require accountability next year because I've been basically creating a Mad Max-style wasteland out of a civilized nation, a civilized former nation. Yes. So in any case, no product reviews today, and if you haven't checked out our product reviews playlist, check it out. And I'm going to put something on the screen for a very, very brief period of time. You'll have to pay attention to this one, or you might not see it here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Did you see a thing? Did you see a thing on there, on the screen there? I'll bet you saw a thing. Anyway, seems like it might turn out to be a year of accountability. In fact, perhaps it'll be a decade of accountability, or maybe half a decade. That's actually my current estimation of the length of the year of accountability that we're currently seeing. So, all right. So that's up. Apparently, we've gone to warp speed. Number 1, I order you to take a number 2. All right. I just always wanted to say that during a live stream. So cheers. Anyway, let's check out an interesting news source here, the monstrosity that is CBS News. Haitian president assassinated in his home. Well, that makes for great content on YouTube. Let's don't talk about that. It's part of CBS News' massive header as their credibility takes a header. Here, check it out. I'll put it back on the screen for a quick moment. As CBS's credibility continues to take a header since the 1970s, they have this huge header on their page. So that's some interesting news. How about 10 more victims recovered in condo collapse? How about oh, for God's sakes. All right, so, and that, what a perfect segue that is. Thanks, CBS News. Whoever thought I'd be thanking CBS News. This is horrifying. All right. So here's, yeah, I guess lots of grim news lately in the news. Coexisting with grizzlies in Montana. Coexisting with grizzlies in Montana requires large-scale handguns at the minimum, and preferably a giant can of bear spray. They do indeed respond quite well to that. They've got very sensitive noses. But that brings us to another point. We're going to have to go to usacycling.com here to show you some links, because it's not every day we get to advertise a bicycle race, right? And of course, it's not every day one gets to enter a bicycle race either. So let's just do one today and one tomorrow, and that's what I'll do. So check it out. Here's usacycling.org. If you click on Find Events, right, and you type in Thursday night, you might find this, the Thursday night training series, which, by the way, is the original Thursday night training race. How old it is, I don't really know, but it turns out that it's starting up tomorrow night. Yes. So if you want to see world-class cycling on a weeknight in the Lehigh Valley, head to the Bob Rodale Park. Here is the flyer. Shout out to Chip. Over the last 30 years, probably the largest continuous promoter of cycling as far as one person, Chip Bresney, having promoted a lot of bike racing. So here's the flyer for the Thursday Crit, the Thursday Night Criterium, as it's called. And this is the Thursday night race that started Thursday night races. And thank goodness for that, because it's spectacularly fantastic. And I'll just let the flyer scroll here very slowly. And of course, if you're a junior or a beginner, there is a race for the novices that starts at 5:30. It's about a half an hour long. And then if you ride well enough in the novice race, you may qualify for the late race, which starts at 6:05. That is a Cat 1, 2, 3, 4 men and Cat 1, 2, 3 women. And we get world-class fields all the time at the event, as people come from far and wide to race at the Lehigh Valley Velodrome. I believe it's currently referred to as the Valley Preferred Cycling Center, but it's still under thevelodrome.com. And if you're wondering who I ride for, it's theveloshop.com. I'm sorry, theveloshop.net. Theveloshop.net. And I'm not sure if we still had that in the description. We'll have to add that into the description throughout race season. So what else do we have to talk about? Well, it's very important that bicycle racing is restarting in the Lehigh Valley, as the Lehigh Valley is one of the world's largest cycling communities. So that's super exciting. More on that later, and we won't be putting the word moron in the thing. Anyway, don't be a moron. So let me put your chats up on the screen here. It's another segue. See what I did there? Just kidding, folks. If you're viewing our videos, you may be a moron, but probably not. Especially if you're leaving a comment. I mean, there's no doubt you must be of superior intellect if you're leaving a comment, because being able to type being able to press keys. Thank you very much, viewers. We will try not to berate you during the live stream. So here are your comments on screen. And don't forget to leave a comment if you're currently what's it called? Stalking, creeping, if you're creeping. Lurking. If you're lurking, leave a comment. As we never know how many people are viewing based on the quote software, end quote, which is very, very well written software, by the way. Bestoic says some comets among us. Yeah, I'm a moron. We were aware of the CME, Mandy. We did post about that. Should we cover the CME that's currently unfolding, folks? I guess maybe we could do that. It could be considered news to some. I don't know. Maybe. So let's go to the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center here and take a look at the currently unfolding CME. I guess you'll get a little bit of a tutorial here. As we are streaming live, I might as well show you what I'm clicking on. So on the home page, just click on 7 and click on Stereo A Core 2. And you'll see the coronal mass ejection, the one from the watch that we put on our thumbnail and title of this morning's daily space weather video. There's the CME occurring, the one which we were referring to. And of course, we changed that to a warning once it began to release. I believe our patrons would have been the first to get that. And it's way too early to be able to figure out a trajectory or anything like that. It's not even fully released yet. And there could be a radio emission going on as we speak. So we'll take a look at some more space data here for once. Something we don't usually do on the Wednesday streams. So let's see what else we have going on here. Any solar flares? Just some B-class flaring there, and our regular viewers are well aware that we don't really need to see a solar flare for a coronal mass ejection or a sunspot. Coronal mass ejections occur regularly without any events like that. So here, I guess I might as well show the graph. There's the GOES X-ray flux. That's your high energy solar photons right there. And we'll be analyzing the situation with the solar protons from that coronal mass ejection when able. But it's currently a little bit too early for that, so it's probably not even visible yet on the LASCO. But let's take a look and see if it is. All right, so let me just bring that up here. Oh, excuse me. Bring up the LASCO C2 to see if we're seeing any. It looks like we already are seeing some ejecta on the LASCO C2, so that's great. All right, here we go. Excellent. Splentacular and nice timing, I might add. And once again, our regular viewers may be well aware that our channel has seen some well-timed events, so to speak. And this looks like another westwardly directed coronal mass ejection. The real thing we're talking about here, folks, is the fact that we can forecast it. And yeah, I got to take a sabbatical from work, essentially, in order to write a couple of papers. So bear with me one moment. I need a beverage. My mouth is getting a little on the dry side. Ah, nice. So Bestoic says he's still banned from Facebook on Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace. There are a lot of people who I think perhaps may have a legitimate lawsuit against certain companies. Now, what do you think? Do you think that certain corporations who shall remain unnamed have created massive amounts of liability for themselves. I mean, we've been saying it since 2016, which was kind of the same point that a lot of people in the U.S. realize that there are two justice systems. And I won't even elaborate on that, as I'm sure most of our viewers find it evidently clear what I mean. So yeah, way to go, Mandy. Way to report the coronal mass ejection. I figured I'd cover it since you brought it up. But again, our patrons would already know about this. So it's patreon.com/smAsho. There are I think there are 7 different tiers there, $3 to $15 per month. And you may appreciate the advanced cosmology and other information that nobody else gets to see, especially at those higher tiers. All right, so yes, the Google, Facebook, Apple, Twitter, Amazon, and Tesla are there. I wouldn't want to. I need a bleep button, folks. I need a button where I can censor myself, and then I can talk, and then you won't get to hear what I've said because I'll make like an annoying or like a beep sound over what I'm saying, so you can't hear me. I think that'll be nice, and this way, I can talk about whatever I want to talk about and not worry about getting videos demonetized or banned entirely, as of course we could get suspended at any moment. And I'll just say this. If YouTube would simply inform people of what the rules are, some of us would simply follow the rules regardless of how silly they are, so that our channels don't get deleted or suspended. It isn't in our viewers' interests to get deleted or suspended, so we try to avoid it and not try to make an example of ourselves by doing idiotic things. By the way, speaking of doing idiotic things, mankind has been doing lots of idiotic things, so let's talk about some non-idiotic things. Alt tech. We became alt tech back in, 2019? Smash staff, leave us a comment. Tell us when we launched smAshomash.com. smAshomash.org came later, and right now it doesn't really have any content on it. It will just redirect you to smAshomash.com because we're attempting to use the .com to fund the .org. Yes. We are in the process of attempting to raise enough money to become what we would call sustainable. And then we're hoping to get a 503c status where, of course, donations would become tax deductible. So just so you understand at least one of the things that's going on behind the scenes, because we don't really talk about it that much, because it doesn't make for good content. It's boring, bureaucratic details that most people aren't interested in, including me, in fact. So just informing you of that and citing our own website. So, and of course, if you're viewing the video, congratulations on realizing that our channel exists, and welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. One of the links you can find there is the smAsho merch link, and if you click on that, you'll be redirected to our Redbubble page. And there are 7 designs there, and today we're talking about this particular one, the completely non-controversial Vaccinate This design. And I'm currently wearing the classic tee. So that's today's featured product. And nothing says don't run me over or shoot me like Blaze Orange clothing. So hey, I'm wearing some today. All right, here's the my vaccination. It says HIPAA. And then it has a coronavirus behind the HIPAA, see? And it says, my vaccination status is none of your business. Because you see, folks, HIPAA didn't evaporate because people got scared and spooked. because they listened to what CBS had to say about the COVID. Your rights, none of your rights evaporated. The reason that they're there is so that if adversity occurs, you're aware of what they are, and then you would resist the erosion of them. So anyway, that's that totally non-controversial thing, and let's get back to some fake news. Now, we're watching CNN as they attempt to turn the corner from the coronavirus network to the climate nonsense network. Now, Smash News Network is the least busted name of news. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think of CNN, who claims to, or at least they claim Ed, to be the most trusted name in news. What do you trust CNN for? Now, I trust the American people as they ranked the lowest in the world on trusting the media to, report the truth. Yeah. So that's some great news there. It almost makes you feel like there's some sort of hope for mankind. Anyway, their top story is about Surfside Rubble, which perhaps could be them attempting to turn the corner. They're going to say, because hotter temperatures lead to more hurricanes, which is something that's not true according to the statistics. The hotter temperatures caused the deaths of those 46 people in the, what's the name of the town? I have no idea. Anyway, there's the CNN. Let's go to, let's find a right-wing news source. What is it? The Washington Examiner? Not Washington Post. What's the right wing? It's Washington Examiner, right? Or allegedly right. I don't know. I shouldn't use the term because I have no idea what the term means anymore. As right and left have completely lost meaning. It looks like, good God. All right, so here is their... Oh, man. All right, let me put your... So here, I see lots of comments coming in. I will put them on the screen momentarily here. But first, let me read the top headline on Washington Examiner. That's WashingtonExaminer.com. And we're not paid to say this. I'm not affiliated. I'm not a contributor or anything like that. Majority believes Biden officials are secretly running country. You can't trust them to go buy some ice cream without talking about Russian secrets. I'm sure everything's just fine in that administration. It's perfectly fine, folks. That there's nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Everything is just hunky-dory. It's almost like the leg hair that I don't have. It doesn't really turn blonde in the sun. It's blondish brown or brownish blonde. It doesn't change colors in the sun, though, honestly. My leg hair, when existent, which, by the way, there is none, but when my leg hair does exist, it remains the same color. It has the same spectral emission and absorption properties that it has in the sun and in the dark, technically speaking, because, well, that boils down to its molecular structure now, doesn't it? All right, so let's look at some more news sources here. How about ZeroHedge.com? And shout out to Danielle Dobish, who, alerted me to the story about and the of the. All right, don't adjust your speakers or anything, folks. I was just talking mumbo jumbo, almost like the way CBS, NBC, CNN, ABC, Fox News, and most mainstream news sources do, because they're corporate lackeys, folks. They're plutocratic corporatists. All right, so let's see what else is going on here on the Zero Hedge news front. It looks like Tucker he's doubling down on being spied on. What do you think? Was Tucker spied on by the NSA? And again, I will get your comments on the screen in a moment here. If we have to go back and rehash, then we'll go back and rehash. Just don't rehash oil your fig Newtons, because you'll end up holding onto the grass to stop from flying off the planet. Tucker has a message for you. NSA wait. So was Tucker spied on by the NSA? The NSA insists that Tucker was not spied on by the NSA, but then how would an NSA official have had access to things that should only be privy to people participating in the email conversation or trading text messages? I was in Washington for a funeral last week, and I ran into someone I know well who said, "I have a message for you," and then proceeded to repeat back to me the details and emails. Okay, this is an old story. Why is this so high on your list? Why is this so high on your list, Zero Hedge? Do you have some sort of the agenda as well? You will show us your papers, yeah? You will show us your papers. Zero Hedge, do not make us figure out the funding of your operation. It could be very unfortunate if your board gets, if your board of directors is investigated for fraud and misleading their shareholders, yeah? Hey, Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Those are some nice investors you got there. Be a shame if you misled them, huh? All right, enough of that. What's this about Raytheon? Leaked docs show defense contractor Raytheon pushing extreme critical race theory de-education, re-education. You must unlearn what you have learned, yeah? By the way, I don't know if you were aware, everything is bigger in Texas and everything is bigger in Deutschland. The question is, which is bigger, Texas or Deutschland? And that is including the mountains, yeah? All right, and let me do a segue here. We're going to go back to some SDO data and stop talking about any of this kind of stuff. And we're just going to show a lengthy video here of the closest star in 304 angstroms. I'm going to get off the screen, and I'm going to put your comments on the screen. So please feel free to leave some. If you're lurking, if you are lurking, you will have to be LARPing soon, or we will dress up. We will dress up as the characters from Mos Eisley Cantina, and we will knock on your front door over and over again, yeah? All right, so here are your chats. I'll let them scroll all the way through while I show the sun here in 304 angstroms ionized helium. From the Solar Dynamics Observatory, it's a 48-hour video. And it looks like the coronal mass ejection came right out of the middle of the sun here. So it's one of the filaments that we were talking about this morning. And this is the reason why we put the words coronal mass ejection watch in our thumbnails. You'll notice it doesn't appear there all the time. It's because we've had a 100% margin of we've had a 0% margin of error, a 100% margin of success for forecasting coronal mass ejections on the Earth side of the sun for the past about 4 months, I think it is. And you can confirm that, smAsho staff. Yes, we started the website in 2019, so welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Congratulations on realizing our channel exists. And I think, do we have a new patron? That's amazing. Well, thanks, Charles. Cheers. Everybody, thank Charles for increasing the probability these videos will continue to exist and remain publicly visible. I don't have... Oh, red jellyfish? Red jellyfish are a phenomenon that occurs above large thunderstorms. It's just a thing. It's probably there over all of them to some extent. And the reason that we regularly say that we would like people to take photographs and time-lapse photography and video of the areas above thunderstorms, it's largely because of red jellyfish, as well as all kinds of other phenomena that happen up there. But ultimately what it is it's sort of like it's an above the thunderstorm sort of sub-auroral sort of a thing. And, you know, what it's doing is it's saying, hey, look at me, I'm the bridge between Earth and space. So, well, everything is not electric, folks. Some things certainly are electric. And, you know, this is a thing that I don't want people to misunderstand. People think that everything is not electric. Let's start there. Everything isn't electric. The reason why everything isn't electric is because we have the scientific term electric to mean something. So you could say, yes, your argument is a pedantic argument. Your argument is a semantic argument, right? You're only arguing the meaning of words. Well, isn't every argument an argument regarding the meaning of words? Since the meaning of words define what it is we're talking about. So anyway, the point is everything's not electric. And so for my favorite example is a stream of protons just flying through space. You know, let's say a star goes into a hyperactive state and it fires out relativistic protons in a certain direction. Whoosh, there they go. They have sufficient energy to leave the stellar sphere, the magnetic field surrounding that star. They make it all the way out of there. So now they're traveling at some significant proportion of light speed through interstellar space. Just some gas, some diffuse gas moving at a very, very high speed. That isn't electric. And you can argue and say, well, they're ions, so the fact that they're charged particles and they're moving, that they represent current. And it's true, but from a mechanical perspective, they aren't current until they interact with something. They're particles. They're traveling through space, repelling each other in this cloud where they polarize because of their particle physics nature. Anyway, all arguments are semantic arguments, and I'll just leave it there. Everything isn't electric, though. Some things are electric, some things aren't electric. What I consider electric is when the fundamental nature of a system is controlled by the flow of electrons, like an electric light bulb. Why is it an electric light bulb? It's electric because it requires a flow of electrons through its circuit in order to emit light, right? People will say, well, the floor is electric because electron repulsion is the reason you don't fall through the floor. And while that's true, that doesn't make the floor electric, because the floor is not characterized by the flow of electrons. And we could go on in circles about this all day, but I won't do so. Anyway, back to the 48-hour SDO video. It's a pretty good one. There were less filaments than there were before, but there are still probably additional filaments there. And this often is sort of an ongoing process over a lengthy period of time. Let's take a look at the LASCO C3 here. Since we looked at the C2 already, let's check out the C3 and give that a minute to load. We'll blow it up. And barely anything to be seen there. Looks like the C2 may have some more relevant data here. Anyway, a couple more frames coming through there, and we see nothing in the north or the south or the east. So, an indication the whole thing will probably miss to the west. In any case, we've reached a moment for an intermission. So let me bring up some additional solar imagery here, and then we'll come back and leave some comments during the break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes here. I'll play a Golden Cat Productions musical ditty. By the way, we got to make some more merch for this as well. Look for some more merch coming out at those merch shops. Links to all of that at smAsho.com on the homepage. And we may have to release this song too. I'm not sure if this one's public. This one's called When I. All right, I apologize for that temporary aside. And we are back. Yeah, let's put your chats up here. See what everybody's been talking about here. We'll let the whole thing scroll real slow like. Yes. Samuel, nobody thinks you're a moron. I don't think they do. I don't think you're a moron. And again, thanks for leaving comments, everybody who did. I'm getting a little blinded here. Apologize if I'm gonna have to go behind the shades. Charles Terry says, get off Facebook. A lot of people less than enthused. And I refuse to leave Facebook because I just hold accountable. Here's some words of wisdom, folks. Forgive, remember, hold accountable. Let me repeat that. Forgive, remember, and hold accountable. Why? Because holding grudges is like ingesting poison and expecting the other person to die. So forgive, remember, and hold accountable. By the way, nobody contact me on Facebook Messenger. You're not going to get a response. You'll get one response where I say, don't contact me on Facebook Messenger. It's some of the worst and most pathetic spyware in the history of the internet. All right. And again, thanks everybody for leaving comments here. We'll let that scroll down just about at the bottom there. Tiniest squish thinks the atoms are denser in the floor than in the body, which is why you don't fall through. Please don't say density. Oh, for goodness sakes. Density. All right. All right, so it's got some different solar imagery here. Do we have any requests? How about 335? I like the soothing blue tones. Here's a 48-hour video in that wavelength. One of my personal favorites, actually. And you see a little bit of activity continuing out here from sunspot 2838. The one which suddenly appeared and then kept on flaring. $28.35 looking pretty huge down here as well. All right, and what else can we talk about? What about matters economic? I haven't been paying too much attention. I heard stocks got hammered, as well as bonds. So we should see an uptick in bond yields. What happened with precious metals and cryptos, you ask? Well, maybe you don't ask, but I do, so time to cover it. Here's cryptos. How about Bitcoin on the Coinbase exchange? And remember, folks, pay attention to your exchanges. The volume data can be very hinky. Hinky is a nice term. And by the way, let's bring back some old school terms. I won't bring up the ones I said on Facebook earlier today, although one of them definitely started with the letter C. So here's a 1-year chart of Bitcoin. I mean, a 1-month chart of Bitcoin. How about a 3-month? Yowzers! Hammered over a 3-month period here. And then going back to look at Ethereum, preferably on Coinbase as well here. Ether on Coinbase. I only report on Coinbase if possible because that's the exchange I use. And again, really it's only the volume data. Here's a 3-month of Ethereum. A more consistent spike, a more concentrated spike here for Ethereum, but a similar downward spike. And I guess I'll show one more time here, stellar lumens. According to Coinmetrics, here's stellar lumens, currently 26 cents per stellar lumen. There's a 3-month of that. Almost like in between Bitcoin and Ethereum, but 26 cents per stellar lumen. Let's take a look at precious metals as well here. We'll show graphics for gold and silver. What's your favorite commodity? Is it Dutch tulips? Did you take a second mortgage on the house to buy Lucent Technologies stock in the year 1998? I hope not, because they crashed and got bought. All right, let's see here. What do we got here? Futures. What are you was talking about futures over here? Let's go back to the market screen and show you what I'm seeing so you don't think I'm just talking out my you-know-what here. So I'm just going to scroll here. Everything's pretty flat. Nothing's really down very much. The NASDAQ's, the Dow Jones is up a little bit here. Xilinx losing some value here. That was one of the big late 90s tech darlings. Xilinx, Rambus, that was one of the big deal companies. They had some fresh cutting edge stuff when they first came out. I remember them IPOing. People were stoked about Xilinx. Today, not so stoked. Not that they're bad. They're a hardware manufacturer. So if the hardware works, it's pretty hard for them to screw up. So we oddly see the bonds going down in price. So I heard there was a bond sell-off, but we see bonds losing value here. So that's, I don't know what's up with that. Gold's just over $1,800 an ounce. There's the 1-year chart of gold. Here's the 3-month. not looking very much like crypto. We'll also show silver and hope the web page returns to the spot we had it. I guess it's not going to. Here's the chart for silver. $26.25 for the silver there. That's a 1 year. Here's the 3 month. Very similar to the gold chart. A little undervalued with respect to gold, I think, still. Anyway, there's that. And as far as other major indices, I don't really care. If there's something you'd specifically like us to cover, like a stock or anything like that, or a stonk, just let us know and perhaps we'll feature it. Once again, you are all invited to join the Neo Renaissance. Check out smAsho forum, by the way. There's all kinds of stuff in there about cosmology, and we've recently updated the solar events logger because some of the software someplace on the internet on a website which will remain unnamed stopped functioning. And so we just said, we're just going to host it on our own site over here. Here's Robert talking about the 1957 historic solar maximum. And here's the X-class flare. So anyway, lots of other interesting stuff there on our own website. And of course, the reason that exists is because we saw the writing on the wall back in 2018 when we ran into issues with, guess who? Facebook. And it caused us to make the, what was it? The 12 days of Facebook. And of course, we can't claim credit for it, but their stock price mysteriously fell that very month. Of course, it wasn't our fault. And of course, we would never attempt to reduce the value of a company's stock. Citing the fact that it's overvalued and attempting to intentionally manipulate its price, especially through propaganda, fraud, misrepresentation, etc., that's unethical. So, citing the truth is ethical, and manipulating stocks is unethical. You ever hear that before? Elon Musk. Yes. Using social media status to manipulate your stock price or the price of cryptocurrencies is unethical. All right. And again, if there are any other stories anybody would like us to cover, let us know in the comments. We will go on any tangent you'd like us to go to. But in the meantime, maybe check out smashomash.com/forum. Seriously, it's pretty sweet. And of course, I'd like to thank Smash staff for all of her hard work. Please give her a raise by becoming a patron, as Smash staff is deeply involved in the inner workings of the production process. By the way, check out our cosmology forum. A lot of people ask us about Cygnus X3 and Deneb and cosmic rays and so on. And one of the more interesting threads you'll find would be this one right here. Cygnus X3, massive X-ray binary, celestial pole star, Deneb. It's kind of an important star, and I'll let this scroll here just for the sheer aesthetics of it. There's a lot of data that we put up about Cygnus X3. And it's because it's one of the only known cosmic ray point sources. And of course, there are many other likely candidates. But until we actually tie them together to data, we can't say for sure, especially considering even new papers about the way cosmic rays behave with respect to the interstellar medium versus the earthly magnetosphere versus the solar magnetosphere. There's a lot of meandering that happens when it comes to cosmic rays. And there's a great image. This is an image of the relativistic jets from X3. So X3 is actually this object here. And this is a Wolf-Rayet star. So this is, the surface of this star is the size of Mars's orbit. And there's this smaller, but apparently more massive object, which orbits it at something like 4.8 hours. 4.8 hours. Now, I don't know how fast you have to go to complete Mars's orbit in 4.8 hours, but that's a calculation that can be made. And it's a significant percentage of light speed. I'm not going to further do back of the napkin math. I have no idea what Mars's orbit is. And I have no desire to do the math to tie that together at the moment to light speed. But the point is, it's a very hot, bright star. It's clearly a cosmic ray source. So that's why we're trying to get people to study it in the radio frequency while it's in a quiescent state, as it has a very, very loud X-ray state. Anyway, let's check out some more news stories. I did see one that relates to what I'm talking about right now, about the meanderings of cosmic rays. So let's head to phys.org here. We're in the astronomy and space section. And I saw a brilliant article here. Let me just allow this to scroll for a second. Ah, yes, some heavy element productions in classic novae. Yes. Are you surprised? You've been watching the channel for a while. You may be aware that we've been citing the fact that all stars seem to be able to make heavy elements on their surfaces. Here's one of the things that happens with the heavy elements, where they repeatedly change direction when crossing like galactic scale magnetic fields, for example. And I have no idea where I was going with this, because I didn't really prepare to talk about this article, but in any case, there it is on your screen. This affects the directionality of cosmic rays. The reason it's so difficult to be able to figure out a cosmic ray source is because the cosmic ray source must transmit the mostly hydrogen nuclei through a vast series of different media throughout the interstellar empty space. The empty space isn't that empty. So as these hydrogen nuclei are flying through space, they're encountering various things that are refracting their trajectory, as well as interacting with them in all kinds of different ways. And of course, they're being decelerated when they show up at magnetic fields. So this is why it's difficult to figure out cosmic ray point sources. We don't really know where they're coming from. But with a thing like Deneb, what's so good about Deneb is that it was discovered accidentally in a granite mine about 1,000 feet below solid granite. And anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that. If you want to go read about it, check it out. It's smAsho.com/forum in the cosmology forum. And we got to put your chats on the screen. So leave any comments you'd like displayed. We're going to scroll through those once again in a moment here. There was another article here. Yeah, this one here. So a very large cosmological scale X-ray survey was done as well. Let's show this article. Smash staff! Get on your knees! Just kidding. She's not even controlling this. This is entirely me. I'm just acting like I'm being an evil slave driver. And again, please give Smash staff a raise by becoming a patron or picking up some merch. Here at the Smash News Network, we make sure that the merch is of the utmost quality. Anyway, Galaxy Cluster Able 3158. So a big X-ray survey done on this galactic cluster. I haven't had a chance to read this one all the way through yet because guess what? I just found out about it at about 3 o'clock this morning. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I was doing things at the time, and then I was doing other things, and then you probably saw our daily space weather video. Anyway, all right, so what else is going on here? Let's see. All right, so to streAm, I was 100% stating that Elon Musk is a fraud. I was very concerned about what he was saying back in the day when he was like talking about what Tesla's going to do, and then when Tesla bought the Bitcoin, the shark was jumped. The shark was jumped. And so then denouncing Bitcoin and saying, oh, I don't like Bitcoin anymore because of Bitcoin's carbon footprint. Who used to watch WWF wrestling and then WWE wrestling? Remember The Undertaker? He had a manager called Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer is exactly how every news agency and 3/4 of YouTube channels sound about any possible story. This is how they sound. Oh, Undertaker saw what you were doing behind the scenes. You know what it means for your soul and your sacred credibility when you're lying to these people to cover up your lies to these people. Oh, the river Styx awaits you. Oh. Like that's I don't know, that's my best rendition of what YouTube is like. It's like, you'd better repent right now because you stole the urn of Cain's uncle or some shit like that, right? All right, so anyway, great galaxy cluster here inspected. Hopefully nobody's really scared about this. Somebody might be frightened. Somebody could be frightened. You never know. Let's see what phys.org has to say about Earth. Oh my God, meltwater lakes in Antarctica. Oh my God. On that note, let's go to windy.com. I want to see how melted Greenland is. So let's go to windy.com. Allow me to get off screen. Check it out. The low is, I don't know where it is. Right there or so. Let's look at the current data here. Yeah. That's the good stuff. Look at the visible satellite. It's daytime. And that should be a 2-hour loop. So we're going to allow this to load here for a minute. And then, oh, fantastic imagery there. And you can see the upper level system here all being attracted toward this low, which is right about there. I mean, it's a very obvious low here. And we've got a webcam. Ew, I thought it was going to be on the beach or something. Get that out of here. All right, anyway, there's that. Now, let's go to snow depth. Because we got to get some scary spookiness going. Oh my God! Look at North America, folks. All of the snow has long since melted. The day may come when children can never see snow again. Unless they go farther north or south than 40 degrees latitude in the wintertime. But things could occur. And to prepare for that, we should stop producing carbon, which makes plants grow. Yes, reduce your carbon output, you fools. Otherwise, Greenland could melt. It could melt, folks. And let me tell you, it's very melty. Look, here's a place. Look at this place. It looks like you could just go bass fishing there, doesn't it? Oh my God. There's probably tarpon in there. Maybe barracudas and some stingray. Who knows? Because you know why? Because there's no ice. Oh, there's no ice, folks. Now, of course, if you go right here, it's all icy and snowy because there's more than 5 meters of snow there. All right. And then, of course, you've got this area here where there's more than 5 meters. Oh, no. Soon the ocean will be lapping at your door. Because do you see this isolated peninsula here? There is only 185 inches of snow left in that area. Which means sick children will starve and somebody will kick a puppy based on your carbon output. If you produce more than some number of pounds of carbon per year, you shall be... Wait, what'll happen now? I don't know. Something will happen, and definitely don't burn a tire, folks. Do not burn a tire, okay? If I ever said to burn a tire, it was only in jest. I would never... Yes, of course I have my papers. Here are my papers. Thank you. I was only saying to burn a tire in jest, folks. I swear to God. I swear to God, my deity. By the way, we're wearing orange because it's to celebrate our sherbet gender, if you weren't aware of this. And this is not shtick. You can find it in our profile. Yes, we are sherbet gender. And who we is a secret. You wish you could figure it out, but you can't. Because we're sherbet gendered. So deal with that. And I think we actually have a video about that. Don't we have a video about that? And let's put the graphics back of the melting Greenland. Look at how melted it is. Oh my God, look at this place here. Oh my God, look at that. That is so melted. Phew. I hope these guys are okay with all the torrential waters rushing down here, sending them into the seas against their will. Oh, look at the glaciers receding, folks. Look at the glaciers receding. Oh my God, Greenland. Greenland, it's melting. This is within the last day. How about 30 days ago? What was it like then? Looks snowy. Can we get a daytime? Jeez. It looks like a nuclear winter. There you go. There's some daytime. Oh my God. Look at the place is melting, folks. You see how it's slanted? See how it's slanted like this? That means that this side is sinking because the ocean's right here and it's going to just fall right into the ocean. That was and by the way, that's a John Madden approved global warming diagram, if you weren't aware. Anyway, there's the most recent imagery of the guy and his snowcat. He better he better exchange. Wait, that would work. That would work on the rocks that are only a mere 5 meters below him, right? So let's see. Oh, geez, the snow there must only be. Oh, he's only got 185.2 meters of base. There you go. 185.2 meters of base. Oh my God, it's melting. It's a cataclysmic catastrophe. All right, and let's get off of that and go to more satellite imagery. Is it clear skies over Greenland? Well, certainly not. It's cloudy. And we'll look at a giant satellite image and we'll close out the video because it's about that time. We'll scroll the whole chat once more here. Let me just move the map a little bit. We'll get most of the planet there. By the way, there's lots of great webcams on windy.com. It's going to take forever to load. I apologize. All right, let me put your comments on the screen as my voice tanks. And thanks again for everybody leaving comments. Any exciting plans for the weekend? Let us know if you'll be going to watch any bike races or perhaps race in any bike races. By the way, the Thursday night crit is a training event. So people laughably call it Thursday Night Worlds because people get a little bit out of control. But anyway, if you do happen to enter a bike race, chill out, keep the tires rubber side down, and don't taco your wheel or anybody's head. And as there's been lots of crashing in the news lately, many of you may have seen the crash with Tony Martin. If you haven't checked out our Instagram, there's a segue for you. Our Instagram featured a Tony Martin crash. So Tony Martin's one of the ultimate time trialists, and certainly one of the best of the modern era. And Tony Martin got crashed on the first day of the Tour de France. Why? Because some woman was posing for the camera, holding a sign out, posing for the camera instead of paying attention to the race, which caused a rather horrific crash. I mean, I think like 30 riders were involved. But in any case, it was not my favorite. So if I go back a few days here, there is a post about this. Here's what not to do. No, do that. Just don't do this. So here's what went on, okay? I'm going to show this on the YouTube video for once instead of telling you to just follow me on Instagram. There's all kinds of exclusive content there. Despite it being a Facebook property, I don't care. It's convenient. Moving on. So here's the scene. See this person right here? I'm not going to say anything disparaging. I'm just going to... All right? Or better yet, I got a better one. How about this? Tony, this woman looks like death. She may take you out. Tony, do we have him on race radio? There's an alpine mountain in the way, sir. Tony, this woman looks like death. Beware, beware. All right, so anyway, here's the next frame that I took. She holds the sign out even farther. Thanks. Now, I think he thinks she's going to pull it back. But guess what happens? Nope. Great move. And then here's what happens next. This is Tony going down, and he was okay. He wasn't injured. He, continued on. His teammate, who's now dropped out of the tour, I think, or at least gotten dropped, he said, "It is lucky crash on first day." Since then, Tony has been largely safe. So that's Tony Martin from the Lotto Jumbo, the Dutch cycling team. And so follow us on Instagram. We're still not at 500 followers on Instagram. I'm sure the content was never throttled or anything like that. I'm sure it's just because the content's no good. Cheers, pardon the sarcasm. We'll talk to you soon. We're going to close out the Wednesday stream, and we'll play one more musical ditty for you here, and we'll put your comments up on the screen one last time. We'll play, what can we play here? We'll play Journey to the Center of the Hearse, which I think this is on the SoundCloud page, which should be linked below the video. Enjoy this. Here come your comments one more time.